Metaverse is often considered the next evolution of the Internet. Let's see what that means by first looking at the history of the Internet. The Internet started in the 1960s as a way for government researchers to share information. Computers in the 60s were large and immobile, and in order to make use of information stored in any one computer, one had to either travel to the site of the computer or have magnetic computer tapes sent through the conventional postal system. Another catalyst in the formation of the Internet was the heating up of the Cold War. The Soviet Union launch of the Sputnik satellite spurred the US Defense Department to consider ways information could still be disseminated even after a nuclear attack. This eventually led to the formation of the ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency Network. The network was ultimately evolved into what we now know as the Internet. ARPANET was a great success, but membership was limited to certain academic and research organizations who had contracts with the Defense Department. In response to this, other networks were created to provide information sharing. The first computers were connected in 1969 and then the Network Control Protocol was implemented in 1970. The network was declared operational in 1971. January 1st, 1983 is considered the official birthday of the Internet. Prior to this, various computers' networks did not have a standard way to communicate with each other. A new communication protocol was established called Transfer Control Protocol Internet Protocol, TCP/IP. This allowed different kinds of computers on different networks to talk to each other. ARPANET and the Defense Data Network officially changed to the TCP/IP standard on January 1, 1983, hence the birth of the Internet. All networks could now be connected by a universal language. It is important to understand the significance of this protocol in the context of our course, as one of the key underlying fundamentals of the Metaverse is efficient and secure data exchange. Let me quickly remind you what TCP/IP are. TCP and IP are separate protocols that work together to ensure data is delivered to its intended destination within a network. The Internet Protocol IP is the method for sending data from one device to another across the Internet. Every device has an IP address that uniquely identifies it and enables it to communicate with and exchange data with other devices connected to the Internet. TCP is then responsible for transporting and routing data from the network architecture and ensuring it gets delivered to the destination application or device that IP has defined. Both technologies working together allow communication between devices over long distances, making it possible to transfer data where it needs to go in the most efficient way possible. In March 1989, a British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee, as a software engineer at CERN in Switzerland, laid out his vision for what would become the web in a document called Information Management, a Proposal. By October 1990, Tim had written the three fundamental technologies that remain the foundation of today's web, in which you may have seen in your web browser. The first one is HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, the markup or formatting language for the web. URI is a Uniform Resource Identifier, a kind of address that is unique and used to identify each resource on the web. It is also commonly called a URL. And finally, HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which allows for the retrieval of linked resources from across the web. Tim also wrote the first web page editor browser, World Wide Web, and the first web server. By the end of 1990, the first web page was served on the open internet, and in 1991, people outside of CERN were invited to join this new web community. As the web began to grow, Tim realized that its true potential would only be unleashed if anyone, anywhere, could use it without paying a fee or having to ask for permission. He explains, had the technology been proprietary and in my total control, it would probably not have taken off. You can't propose that something be a universal space and at the same time keep control of it. His decision was announced in April 1993 and sparked a global wave of creativity, collaboration, and innovation never seen before. Let's pause here and see what is the relation between the web and the Internet. Many people use the web and the Internet interchangeably when they are actually two different things. Internet is a network of interconnected computers on which the web runs and the conduit from which emails and data pass. There isn't just one. There could be countless internets, anytime a series of computers are connected and enabled to communicate and exchange information. Today, the standard office building or corporation might have an intranet, which is the same type of computer information network, only privatized to limit and control access. The point is the connection and the flow of information. The World Wide Web, or just the web, for short, is a standardized system for accessing and navigating the Internet. It isn't the only one. Email and mobile apps, for instance, do not make use of the web to connect you to the Internet, but it's by far the most common. The web is distinguished from other systems by its use of HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which in turn is just a system for standardizing the use of HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. Essentially, HTML is the language of the web and HTTP is the grammar rules for using it. Standardized HTML usage allows everyone accessing the Internet through the web to discover, access, and communicate digitally. Importantly, accessing the web requires a web browser like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Safari, or Firefox to make sense of HTML and allow web pages to display properly. Meanwhile, you don't even need a screen to connect to the Internet. Smart speakers and other Soundry connected devices don't speak HTML and so don't use HTTP open pages or surf.